it was just my mother was negative growing up. She was just negative. All she'd do is spew negativity. And so I got into comedy to offset that. Plus, there was no jobs really that was paying anything. And then I worked retail, selling clothes. You know, I worked for a different couple companies and just working for white folks and the racist stuff. And they wouldn't pay you, and they'd say horrible, negative, racist things and be condescending. And I got tired of it. So I started doing entrepreneurship. I got my own carpet cleaning business. And I started doing stand-up because I felt like with stand-up, it doesn't matter how much money you got. It doesn't matter if you have a degree, who your family is. You're either funny or you're not, you know? And so it would be like the most street dude, you know, crackhead, his family in disarray, he half homeless, but he funny, killing the stage. Then you got the guy who grew up in a rich family. They got money. He got an inheritance. And he's whack. And you just be looking at him like, kill yourself. So it was like, it was the kind of thing I felt like, you know, it was no prerequisite. If either you were funny or you weren't. And then I just started working on that. And then I got better and better. And then finally I started doing white audiences and I started killing them. And I was able to, and then it got to, because first I had a show for the black people and I had a different show for the white people. And that was exhausting, trying to remember all them different jokes and go back and forth and do a whole separate thing. Then I got to a point where I realized funny is funny. And so, you know how some comics say, you know, black people do this and white people do this. Black people do this and white people do this. Then you got comics who say people do this. You know, women do this. Some women do this, some women don't. People do this, they don't. And I realized I didn't have to do the white black thing. I could just tell the joke and it'd be funny for both. Like I would say, hey, you know, I would say something like, I would say, yeah, my name is Chunn. Like we had shrimp fried collard greens, sweet and sour neck bones, orange chitlins. I ain't Oriental, I'm disoriented. My sister's some young hoe. Like I can just say that and it's funny. I don't have to say, you know, or like I could say, you know, some women, I can say I met this one woman and she told me she was celibate. I said, if you sell a bit, I'll buy a bit. I got some drink tickets and some chicken wings. We going all out. I got the red Kool-Aid, you know, so I don't have to say white people or black people. I can just tell the joke. You know, like I had one joke, I would cover all the bases. I would say, you know, how'd that joke go? I would say, let me see. I met this girl. No, what did I say? Oh, I met this girl and she told me, she said, let's go Dutch. And I was like, how am I going to go Dutch? I'm black. She said, that means you pay for yourself. I said, well, then let's go Indian and make some reservations. Let's go Jewish and get a discount. Let's go black and sneak in. Let's go Mexican and sneak out. Let's go Asian and buy the building. Let's go Arab and blow that shit up. You know, so I just started doing comedy as opposed to catering to this race or that race. I just started writing comedy for people because even though white people don't talk how we talk exactly, they understand the joke. And black people on vice versa. I tell white comics, don't black it up when you get in front of black people. Hey, y'all. Don't start doing that because we'll get mad at your ass. Just be white and tell your jokes. If you funny, you funny. We gonna get it. But they, you know, I have white comics try to act black. What's up, man? I'm like, you're whack with that. Just be a white dude. We understand. So just through oppression, you know, family, you know, abuse and stress from my mama. And you know, my dad, he was gone. He was a womanizer. And my mother, you know, she never shut up. So I see why he left. I understand. I couldn't have dated my mama. And I told my mama, I don't know how dad did it. I couldn't date your ass. But you know, so just really it was therapy because my life was so stressed out and so toxic. Living in a Detroit, you got the white people against you and other black people against you. You got to find something to be happy about or channel what you're going through, man. And so that's kind of how I started doing comedy. You feel me? I was a fat black kid named Chunn. What else can I say?
Man, you went in, man. You you spoke on a lot of key points. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, so Detroit, Cleveland, Chicago. We kind of have
Similar,
cousins
very
and family.
similar.
So
What up,
I can relate a
Midwest?
little. Yeah,
Midwest.
no
Cleveland,
doubt,
that's
no
little
doubt.
Detroit.
Right, exactly. So I can ask you now. You had kind of spoke on it, like mental health is like a big thing now. So back in the day, people wasn't really talking about it like that.
No.
But if you could just kind of go into that, like you utilizing comedy or even just using something you love as an escape or a coping mechanism to, kind of guide you through the poverty,
It
depression,
was.
stress.
Comedy became a coping mechanism, because I always like to laugh. I mean, that was my thing. That's how I would get over family stuff. I mean, my parents used to let me stay up and watch The Tonight Show and Johnny Carson and Wolfman Jack and The Midnight Special. It's probably before your time, and these were shows when comedy first started happening. And I would watch The Tonight Show to see the comedian, and my parents would let me stay up till 11 o'clock or whatever. And once I'd see the comedian, I'd have to go to bed. But that's kind of was how I started. And then my mother was real crazy. Like, she's still crazy. I'm glad she's alive, but she crazy. They say people have what they call it, dementia. You heard of that? Dementia? Well, she ain't got dementia. She got to mention everything. She got to mention this. She got to mention that. It's like, shut your ass up. My mother bring up every negative thing that ever happened. That ain't dementia. That's got to mention. She got to mention. And I remember my mother, and my mother was real bitter. And my mother's a chauvinist. Like, she's one of them black women from that era that think black men just are there to serve women and worship them, and they can treat us messed up, and we supposed to stay and take it. That's my mother. She said, your father, his job as a man was to take everything I did, and if it killed him, he's supposed to kill him. I said, well, even if it was unhealthy, yeah. She said, yeah, that's his job. I said, that's why you single. That's why you alone. All the men who stayed with my mama dead. The niggas who left are still alive. I'm glad my daddy left. He'd be dead too. I remember one time my mama said she wished she was a white man with a big black dick, so she'd have all the power. And she said this is my mother because she bitter, right? She said she'd take her dick and stick it in men and pull it out and leave them so they could see how it felt. I said, Ma, you so angry, you wouldn't even be you. You'd be a biracial gay rapist. Do you know that? But yeah, mental health was a part of why I got into comedy. Because if you look at the word therapy, and you break it down, it's they're happy. Therapy. So if I made people happy, it made me feel good. Because sometimes when you do stuff for people, you doing something for them, but it makes you feel good to do it. So you get something out of it too. So that was part of it. Plus, just growing up, in that household, my mother would every day all she talk about was something negative about my father. She just would kill him every day. And then she used to call me and my brother faggots. And she used to just go in on us, the angry black woman. And she was a teacher. I remember I used to smoke weed with my mama on the way to work. She'd be like, here, hit this. These kids ain't gonna worry me. Pull up in the driveway. Here, hit it first, then drive. I'm like, my wow. So, it was crazy, man. And my mama had all these different boyfriends. She kept having, she's like, my father didn't work out, so she kept dating dudes and blaming it for my father. One time she blamed me and my brother. She said, I'm having sex with all these men to find you and your brother a new father. I'm like, Ma, you like 20 dicks in. We know who dad is. That's you, Ma. You just want some new dick. That ain't got nothing to do with me and Steve. And so, so it's like that. And then, and comedy is hard because you'll be having this stressed out, really unhappy life, and then, but then you got to flip to go on stage and make other people laugh. You be depressed. You might have had the flu. You've been sick. You had an argument with your woman. All right, Tommy, you're on. And I got to snap into it. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Hey, nigga, you crazy. Yes, I am. Up in this bed. So, it's a hell of a thing. And even to this day, man, comedy is therapy for me.